This is the first of our 2 side lying exercises, and it's called the side kick. We're going to be working through the abductor muscles initially and then involve other muscles around the hip as we progress the exercise. So first of all, you need to refer back to your side lying neutral position, creating some space under the waist and lengthening the top leg, switching off the global muscles. So if I just ask Belinda to look down, check that she can just see her toes and nothing else, and that the ankles, knees, hips and shoulders are all stacked. So we're going to take a breath into the ribs. We're switching off the tension through the calves so the feet stay relaxed, and we're connecting in through the core to 30%, breathing out, floating the top leg up just to hip height without any compression or sinking through the underneath waist. Good. So the distance between the hips and the ribs stay the same on the top half of the body as they do underneath. Now watch here that the toes don't start to point or the legs lift too high. You want to keep the feet floppy, keep the calf muscle relaxed, and really focus on activating the movement from the outer thigh. There's a little bit of support with that top hand. Encourage your class just to use fingertips so they don't rely on the arm throughout the exercise. Now we're going to progress this. We breathe out to lift. We're going to breathe in to glide the leg forwards, sweeping it across the table. Breathe out to return and in to lower. Breathe out to lift. Keep the core activated the whole time. The pelvis completely still, so there's no forward or backward bending in the lower spine. And one more, breathing out to lift, lengthening at the hip. Try and lengthen to reach away from the body. Breathe in to glide, out to return and into lower. Now that's involved a little bit more with the hip at the front here. To use the inner thigh of the underneath leg, the adductors, we're going to take the exercise to the 3rd level. So we take a breath in to activate the core, switch off the globals in the lower leg, and breathing out, still keeping the length underneath the waist, you lift the legs together, breathing in to lower. And you can really feel those core muscles stabilizing the pelvis as the legs lift. You can also feel the activation on the upper abductor and the lower adductor. Good. Nice and relaxed through the upper body. And one more. And relax. Good. An alternative to the side kick is an exercise called the oyster or the clam, and this involves shortening the lever so you're at a 90-degree position at both the knee and the hip. This takes out part of the abductor group called the iliotibial band and is great for really isolating one of the weakest abductors, the gluteus medius. So again, we've got our neutral alignment and set up exactly the same as our side lying position. We're going to breathe in to contract the core, switch off the calf, and as you breathe out, focus on activating the move from the outer thigh, breathing in to return. So Belinda's keeping her feet glued together and she's opening up just through the knees and the hip. There's no over-rotation of the spine, that stays perfectly still as if you have an imaginary brick wall behind it, and the upper body again is relaxed. So your focus is core and outer thigh, switching off the lower part of the leg and still thoracically breathing. This exercise is called the side bend, and its focus is on the external obliques underneath the waist here. Now Belinda is in a side lying almost neutral position, but the beginning of the exercise will bring her into neutral, and we've got the heels in line with the bottom and the knees just bent in front. Important feature here is to have the elbow directly under the shoulder, otherwise your class are going to feel too much stress around the shoulder joint. The shoulder girdle must be engaged down to avoid any hunching up to the ear, and we're going to breathe in to relax the legs, switch on the core, and the first part of the movement is to bring us into neutral. So as you breathe out, you imagine a balloon inflating underneath the waist to push up through this side of the body. You've then got equal distance between the ribs and the pelvis on both sides of the waist. The second phase of the movement again is to breathe in, keep the legs switched off and the core contracted. As you breathe out, you imagine a harness lifting through the hips and the arm coming over, breathing in to return. Try and make this a continuous movement, synchronized with the breath. The shoulder girdle stays down and you try not to roll forwards or backwards. So the movement is lifting from the middle of the body and not pushing through the legs. Imagine you're just working between two panes of glass here. Good. Forearm, nice and relaxed. Now, to make this exercise a little bit harder, once again, you're going to lengthen or extend the lever. So again, you've got a side lying position. We're out of neutral, so the first phase of the movement is going to bring you into neutral. Elbow under the shoulder, shoulder girdle drawn down. Take a breath in to pull in through the core or up through the core, relax the legs, and breathe out just to come into neutral. Continue through the exercise, lifting like before through the waist. So try and lengthen that top part of your waist to make it equal with the underneath. Your finished position would be as you are in a standing neutral. One more time. Breathe out, standing neutral, and breathe in to return. Again, switching off the global muscles in the calves.